Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Many of you who have followed me for a while now will know I really love ice cream. In fact, ice cream was the one treat that I missed the most when I began my keto lifestyle. And you may have noticed that I have already made and posted several flavors of ice cream on my channel. Some of the recipes are the classic, very rich, decadent, and creamy custard base like this Keto Nutella ice cream, which I have tried to copy as closely as I could a Hazelnut Haagen Dazs style ice cream. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten all of you who do not have ice cream making machines, because I have made and posted quite a number of no machine ice cream flavors as well. And in this video, I'm going to show you a way to use the custard to make the most amazing no machine treat. And if you're an ice cream lover like I am, please go to the end links and check out the playlist and other recommendations I have made, as well as some other suggestions. Now, as I do in all of my videos, so that you can decide how many scoops of this delicious keto ice cream you can enjoy, the macronutrient ratio for my Nutella ice cream, also called a hazelnut ice cream, is 6.6 to 1, with 4.8 grams of total carbs, 1.9 gram of dietary fiber, resulting in 2.9 grams of net carbs per generous serving. Before getting started, I just want to talk about the ice cream machines. If you have an ice cream machine that does not have a built-in compressor like my Breville here, make sure that the day before you plan to make your ice cream, you actually prepare your ice cream machine tub by putting it in the freezer according to your manufacturer's directions. It's really important that the tubs are very well chilled. Now, let's get started with step 1, which is to make the custard base. First, pour the heavy whipping cream and unsweetened almond milk into a small saucepan. Place the pan with the cream and almond milk on your stovetop and set the heat to medium-low. The reason you're using low heat is you want to warm the cream mixture very slowly, and you want to continue cooking while you stir occasionally until the temperature reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit or approximately 70 degrees Celsius. Or if you don't have a thermometer, it's starting to have little tiny bubbles on the inside perimeter around the edge of the pot. Now we do step 2, which you can actually do as your cream is heating up. It'll only take a couple minutes. To a medium-sized mixing bowl, add your room temperature yolks and add the powdered sweetener. And then with your hand mixer or stand mixer, whip at low speed until the yolk and the sweetener are well combined and you notice that the yolk has become pale yellow. It should take you about 2 minutes. Now my cream mixture has been heated, so I'm going to take about 1 cup or 1 ladleful at a time and pour it very slowly into my egg mixture as I continue whipping. It's very important that you drizzle the hot liquid slowly and you whip continuously, otherwise your eggs might cook a little, and that would not make for a nice custard. After adding your first ladle or cup of hot liquid, repeat until you have added about half of your hot liquid, a little at a time like this. By this point, you'll be well assured that your egg mixture has been tempered and your eggs will not fry or curdle. So it's safe to just pour in the rest of the hot liquid into the mixture, but do stir or whip at low speed until well combined. Pour the custard back into the same pan you used before and place the pan back onto your stovetop set to low heat. I like to use my meat thermometer, which works well for this too, because it allows me to be more precise when my custard has been tempered. By the way, this meat thermometer cost me under $5. Cook until the ice cream mixture reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit or about 70 degrees Celsius, or until you notice that the liquid is starting to sizzle and there are small bubbles around the inside edge of the pot. Believe it or not, that's the hardest part of making this ice cream. Now let's go to step 3. To this custard base, I'm first going to sprinkle my sunflower lecithin into the bowl and whisk very well until it's well combined and integrated into the liquid. You don't have to use sunflower lecithin. I do because it's a thickening agent and emulsifier which keeps the ice cream creamier without using alcohol. The next thing I add is my vanilla and stir well. And the last ingredient to be added is my homemade Keto Nutella. And it's important you add this to the hot liquid because it'll be much easier to combine and make into a homogeneous mixture. Now, if you want to make your own Keto Nutella, it only takes 5 minutes. Yes, seriously, 5 minutes. Just watch my video and get all the tips and hints I provide to make your Nutella taste even better than the store-bought. By the way, the link for the Keto Nutella and the link for the written recipe for this ice cream are all posted in the description below, as are the links for the recommended ice cream machines. Now, after adding all the ingredients I'm going to add, the next thing is to chill my custard. I do this by placing a large clean bowl into a nice water bath. I place a sieve over this bowl into which I pour my Nutella custard. By passing it through a sieve, you'll catch any residue or clumpy things that you don't want in your ice cream. The ice water bath is really useful because it cools the ice cream very quickly, but you do have to remember to come back and stir it every once in a while. And you do this every couple minutes or so until your custard has cooled completely. You can tell that your custard has been chilled to the right temperature. All you have to do is dip your baby finger into the liquid, and if it feels cool to your touch, it's cold enough. An important point I want to mention before I forget is that the volume of custard that this particular recipe makes may be a little bit too much for your individual ice cream machine tub. If that's the case, follow the instructions as per your machine. Then measure out the liquid and use only the amount that your machine can handle. I've tested my custard and it's chilled properly. To make things as easy as possible and to reduce the mess I'm going to make, I'm going to pour some of my chilled custard into my measuring cup with a spout and use this measuring cup to pour more accurately into my machine. Either before or after you've poured in all your custard, turn on your machine and get the blade churning. If you have a machine like mine and you have a choice of settings, make sure you put it to maximum hardness. And then just relax and let your machine do all the work. And if you're wondering what to do with this extra delicious custard, this is what I like to do. I get my popsicle molds and pour my extra chilled custard into the individual molds like this. I then place my popsicles into my freezer and leave them overnight, and the next day I have the most delicious, super creamy and velvety popsicles. So much better than anything you'll buy in the store. They're even better than the fudgesicles. When my ice cream was done, I noticed that it was at a really nice soft serve consistency. And it smells so good that I think I'll have a wee little taste. I just can't wait. However, to make it a little bit harder and more scoopable, transfer the soft serve ice cream to a freezer safe container, preferably one that has an airtight lid like this. If you don't have a lid, place a double layer of cling wrap on top and make sure that the first layer of cling wrap is actually touching the surface of the ice cream. Then put your container into the freezer and leave it alone until the ice cream is at the consistency that you like. If you've left it overnight or have had it for several days and your ice cream is frozen, all you have to do is take it out of your freezer, remove the lid and let it rest for about 10 minutes at room temperature. This should get it soft enough to make it nice and scoopable. But you will notice that because of the lecithin, your ice cream is really creamy and velvety, even after being frozen. And here are the 2 popsicles I made. They really are creamy and rich tasting. I do suggest that you try to make them. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope that you have found the video informative and this recipe useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or a question, and recommend it to a friend. And please do come back when I post my next video. And to ensure that you get notified, make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell to all, and then you will know when I post my next video, which will be a very different Nutella treat. So I do hope you'll come back, and check that one out too. See you next time.